talking about relationships. We might as well continue on. All right. It's time for Benny. It's time for Benny Shapiro. He's talking about what healthy marriages look like. And this is just beautiful stuff. This sounds like a healthy marriage. I am also loving the boyhood stubble that he's trying to pull off. It's not working for me. I'm not buying that he's a beard guy. Someone definitely told him, look, Matt Walsh tests well with the beard. You look like a little boy. You need to upgrade and just try it. Like just I don't know. Stubble is a little funny for Ben Shapiro specifically to have because like you're trying, right?
Bill de Blasio and his wife, what's her face? I'm gonna look at her name. Shirlane McCray. They're separating. And I don't know how, if that crazy couple, if they couldn't keep it together, how will any of us? We have the tragic marital story of Bill de Blasio and Shirlane McCray. And if those two crazy kids can't make it, can any of us? Truly? So you remember that Bill de Blasio is a very tall, Frankenstein-esque monster-looking, weird old dude who killed a groundhog. He's also a communist mayor of New York. And you remember
Bill de Blasio is a communist? I'm suspicious. You know, I don't live in New York, but I'm going to suspect that Bill de Blasio is not, in fact, a communist. Would love to see a communist. Let's see. Bill de Blasio. De Blasio Wilhelm. Interesting. His political initiatives, de-escalation training for police officers, de-escalation, reduced prosecutions for cannabis possession. Wow, sounds like a leftist. Implementation of police body cams and ending the post 9/11 surveillance program of Muslim residents. That's good. In his first term as mayor, he implemented a free universal pre-kindergarten program in the city. Good. De Blasio called attention to what he calls stark economic inequality in New York City, which he described as a tale of two cities. During his first campaign, he supported socially liberal and progressive policies. Socially liberal, wow. In regard to the city's economy, urban planning, public education, police relations, and privatization. He better be a fucking communist, dude. Affordable housing? Sounded like a sock dem to me. At best. Graphic designer? Ooh. 9/11 attacks. Yeah, let's talk about the 9/11 attacks experience. Every New Yorker has to have their 9/11 thing they're running. I remember when I was at the 9/11.
Remember that his wife, Shirlane McCray, is a political radical.
Okay.
They married in 1994, but now things have changed, folks. This romantic story is at an end. And I think we should all shed a tear for Bill de Blasio. I mean, that dude's had a rough couple of years, right? He was mayor of New York, and then overwhelmingly people hated his guts, and then he tried to run...
Shirlane McCray. Early life and education. Political ambitions. Personal... Oh, wait, what? McCray published an essay in 1979 entitled I Am a Lesbian. In that essay, McCray frankly discussed her sexuality and expressed gratitude that she came to terms with her preference for women before marrying a man. McCray met Bill de Blasio in 1991. Asked about her sexuality, McCray has stated that she hates labels. So she's a radical. In the 1970s, I identified as a lesbian and wrote about it. In 1991, I met the love of my life and married him. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool. They separation, and they'll start dating other people, though the two would not be seeking a divorce. Based
for president, and people overwhelmingly hated his guts. And then he thought about running for Congress, and people overwhelmingly hated his guts. And now it turns out that his wife,
Arya Coden's son,
might overwhelmingly hate his guts, as it turns out.
Okay.
So I have to tell you the rest of this tragic and heartbreaking and truly just devastating story about Bill de Blasio and Shirlane McCray, a beautiful, beautiful couple who just they their relationship just didn't last the test of time. Quote, this is from the New York Times. About 2 months ago, another stale Saturday night of binge-watching TV at their Brooklyn home, Bill de Blasio and Shirlene McCray surprised themselves. It began with an offhand remark. Why aren't you lovey-dovey anymore? Mr. de Blasio, the former New York City mayor, asked, according to Miss McCray, his wife. It moved quickly, both said, into the sort of urgently searching dialogue that had been necessary for years but avoided until that moment. A full accounting of their relationship, what they wanted, what they were not getting. So, first of all, why aren't you lovey-dovey anymore is like, is Bill de Blasio a dude?
What? Why are you lovey-dovey anymore? I mean, they might just not be. What? What the fuck? Is he a dude? Is he a man?
I don't know. That's a weird thing to say to your wife. Why aren't you lovey-dovey anymore?
What? Wait. Is Ben Shapiro trying to big dog somebody? He's like, I'm actually the big dog here.
Okay, anyway. I can't imagine why Shirlene McCray is off the bandwagon. She says, you can't fake it. I do love that they went to the New York Times to tell this amazing story. So most people, if they had this going on in their lives, they would kind of, keep it under wraps and live their life. Not de Blasio and Shirlene McCray. They're like, man, straight to the New York Times. Do we have a tale to tell? You can feel when things are off, Mr. de Blasio said, and you don't want to live that way. They made their decision that night. Mr. de Blasio and Miss McCray are separated.
Aren't they? Well, yeah, he's a public figure, aren't they? I mean, they're probably like, we should probably do a press release. That makes sense.
They are not planning to divorce, they said, but they will date other people.
Uh-huh.
They will continue to share the Park Slope townhouse where they raised their 2 children now in their 20s.
Makes
The
sense.
vinyl-sided hub of a thoroughly modern political family whose mixed-race symbolism helped send a spindly progressive long shot to City Hall. As with much about their marriage, its strain is imbued with civic resonance, a decade after the pair became what was then the most significant and dissected biracial couple in American politics.
Is it because they're a biracial couple? Biracial. Is that a term we use?
As with much about their marriage, they see lessons for others, even in its tumult, both for workaday couples negotiating the challenges of growing old together and for the small subset who...
We use the term biracial? Doesn't that feel so fucking reductive? Huh. Interracial. We live in a same race couple. I know the biracial pastoral bromance, but I mean, like, just like that was a joke, right? Like, because it was like they're forcing it into the TV show, into the movie. Look, aren't they different? Look, we have a minority. You know what I mean? The biracial pastoral bromance. But I don't know. I mean, y'all can talk like however you want, but I feel like it's weird.
expose them.
What banger? What are you banging about? Oh, I can't play that. I can't play songs.
Themselves to the uncommon glare of public scrutiny. I love this. So their marriage fails.
Usually people describe a person, not a couple, like you are. Yeah. But like, even so, like, I don't know. I guess it sounds weird to say somebody to. I mean, for me, I guess. Aren't you biracial? I don't know. Fucking weird.
And they're banging others. And
they're banging others.
Immediate response is,
yeah,
we should lecture everyone else about how marriage should work. I gotta
is
love
that a lecture? Man. Letting you know how what they're doing is lecturing you?
It's like they set themselves on fire and they're like, let me lecture you about fire safety. I have some words about asbestos. Now, what the hell is wrong with you people?
You can hear it in his voice. He's made uncomfortable. What the hell is wrong with you people? What are you talking about? Fucking other people. I don't know. When I was 13, my parents chose my wife for me, and her parents selected me from the crop of pubescent teens, and eventually we went, well, every sex we've ever had has been dry and through the marriage sheet.
Blasio said, I can look back now and say, here were these inflection points where we should have been saying something to each other. And I think one of the things I should have said more is, are you happy? What will make you happy? What's missing in your life? You never asked your wife, are you happy, or what will make you happy? Like, these are things that never... It is easy to forget now. After 2 uneven terms, a calamitous 2020 presidential bid, a decade of slashing tabloid headlines by turns earned and gratuitous, precisely because what it felt like to see Mr. de Blasio and Miss McCray step into power. They were visually viscerally distinctive. A living testament, supporters said, to the breadth and promise of New York. I love when, again, the New York Times is making them into the model couple. Oh my God.
I mean, the New York Times is weird and gross. Like they're doing the thing. I agree. I'm not a fan of the New York Times or Ben Shapiro. Surprise.
You know what? They're so amazing because he was white and she was black, and that's just absolute wow.
Yeah, but that's why you don't like them, right? Like you both making it a thing.
Wow, because that's never happened anytime in modern American history.
It's only been legal for like 40 years. Like what? Like 60, I guess.
By the way, polls say that 94% of Americans are totally cool with
55. I'm sorry, how many are totally cool?
I'm in modern American history. By the way, polls say that 94% of Americans.
Oh, 94%. A cool 6% of America. 6 times the number of trans people that you say are insignificant.
Americans are totally cool with interracial marriage and don't care. But it was like amazing.
Interesting.
Over a nearly 3-hour interview. Oh man, these people would be. Can you imagine having?
By his own admission, there are more racists than there are trans people in this country. It's fucking crazy.
These people to your dinner party. These are the most insufferable people on planet Earth.
Yeah, not Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, most down-to-earth guy. You'd love to have him at the barbecue. Okay, he'd be like, "Yeah, one of those bratwursts. What's a bratwurst? What's in one of those?"
Church commie and his radical racial activist wife show up to tell you about how they're banging others. Woo! For 3 hours. That's a dinner coming at you. When you are running...
You gotta run your ad. You gotta run your ad spot. Nice, dude. This guy's such a fucking grifter. I can't believe he's such a fucking millionaire, man. This is what nepotism does, dude. This is what happens. This guy has a career because of this shit. Isn't that nuts?
I've been Ben Shapiro to get started. Let's talk about the thing that keeps you sane. So one of the things that keeps you sane in life is connection with God. It's one thing.
Whiplash. He's doing is one of those. We're doing a 2-segment. He couldn't squeeze this one for a whole video. Okay, wowzers. Your connection with God. Let's do it. Okay, bonus content. Atheist. Look. I'm back in my bag, baby. Well, let's actually wait before we move on to this. I didn't realize we were moving on. Let's talk about. That's not really what an open marriage is. They're staying legally married and not really a couple. An open marriage would be like they're also still a couple. Yeah, man, you could structure your relationship however you like. Not everyone is built for being open or whatever. Some people have jealousy issues, and it's not healthy. But that's okay. You just have to make sure that you understand that it's not and work on yourself. And if you never get there, well, you worked on yourself. But don't use that as an excuse. A lot of people do. So, I don't know, man. Like, whatever you want to do. If Ben Shapiro and his wife are happy, and he and they want to live in a trad situation, you can choose to do that. I'm sure there will be difficulties in rearing the children. And if you don't want to live like that, then don't. I don't give a fuck. Some people are fine being roommates while they transition between relationships too. I was roommates with exes on multiple occasions. Hit or miss. Take it or leave it. Personally,
me sane in life. There's a lot going on in my life. There's a lot going on in the world, and it's that connection with God that means a lot to me, which is why I pray 3 times a day. But
you pray 3 times a day. Incredible stuff. Do you think he wears? Do you think the yarmulke is actually part of his fit day to day?
If you're looking to up your game,
regardless, is he actually truly religious? No one talks about his personal life, or is he just like TV religious? You know what I mean?
Religion. Maybe you should check out Hallow. Hallow is an incredible app that
we're doing another ad. The fuck? 2 ads? They even did a little wipe for it. They wiped into another ad? Are we going back to the marriage?
Over a nearly 3-hour interview during which they cupped hands.
They are. Yeah, let's go.
Sporadically, and once high-fived in agreement. Hot. Mr. de Blasio, 62, and Miss McCray, 68. Were alternate 62 and 68, and you couldn't hold it together? Why are you so wildly attractive? At 62 and 60, like at that point, just play out the string, my friends. 62 and 68. Like Bill de Blasio is going to be hot on that Tinder market.
Insane. So they're both fucking and vibrant in their 60s, and Ben Shapiro's like, well, I've closed it up at 40, so...
De Blasio, 62, and Miss McCray, 68, were alternatively wistful, self-critical, and defiant. Rather than issue a terse joint statement to announce what they called a trial separation, the carefully worded fate of so many political marriages before theirs, the two suggested they wanted to get considerably more off their chests. Oh, they're so obnoxious. Instead of just being like, they're not even divorcing, by the way. They could have just done what they did. Instead, they're like, we won't even do a statement. We will call up our New York Times reporter and do a 3-hour interview.
Uh-huh.
They concluded, Mr. de Blasio more forcefully than Miss McCray, that their marriage would not have reached this place if he had never been mayor, as grateful as they said they were for the experience and as proud as they remain of their work. They cited the COVID crisis as an all-consuming external shock that suppressed more probing discussions of what their post-City Hall lives might look like. It made me emotionally very needy, he said, and we were not as connected. I think that he was very annoying, is the impression I get. You know how I know that? Because he's been a public figure for a long time, and he's super annoying.
This guy's such a fucking dork, dude. There's got to be a situation. Ben Shapiro's going to get fucking, like, in real life owned at some point, right? Like, he probably doesn't put himself in a lot of those situations, but he's such a fucking dweeb and hateable. He's got to get publicly humiliated soon, right? Just seems inevitable. He's just such an easy guy.
Go.
Yeah, I assume that's why they did it, so they didn't have to deal with, like, you know, paparazzi or whatever. Please, any Jewish person correct me because I have less than no idea. Well, we'll do one that. Is it larger? I don't know. I've seen all sorts. I don't know how the Jewish faith works.
Yet they also clocked a shift in their relationship a year earlier, they said, coinciding roughly with the presidential run. Miss McCray viewed with deep skepticism. Rituals. Well, then she was the realist. I thought it was kind of a distraction, she said. Kind of true, he said. Point for Shirlane. Asked how it felt when de Blasio proceeded anyway, she said she had to be supportive. That's part of the difficulty of being a package, she said. Asked what she was seeking from this new formulation, she suggested she might enjoy the non-glow of being with a non-public figure. I just want to have fun, she said, adding, as Mr. de Blasio turned to her, it's not that we haven't had fun. Thank you, honey, he said. There's a certain weight, she said, that goes with being with Mr. Mayor. Oh, my God. These people.
They're just chilling, and he's upset about it? I just want to have fun. I get it, man. These people. Fucking why? I want to have fun? Ugh.
By the way, there were some red flags here, I will note.
Oh, okay.
Quote, while Mr. de Blasio said they had become so secure in their marriage, had little reason to doubt its strength, unwelcome thoughts could creep in. One of them, both said, involved their own parents' difficult marriages. Another was about Miss McCray. For the guy who took a chance on a woman who's an out lesbian and wrote an article called I Am a Lesbian, Mr. de Blasio said, there was a part of me that would at times say, is this a ticking time bomb?
It's about average size, at least. It's what? What are you doing? Oh, wow. Did you show me a fucking Donald Trump yarmulke, dude?
Is this something you're going to regret later on? So I always lived with that stuff. Oh, well, yeah, oh. But they're happier now, the New York Times assures us. They're both happier now than they have been in some time, they said, taking care to project a practiced warmth inside their kitchen, where Mr. de Blasio at one point wiped something from her face. Oh, man. Oh, wiped something from her face. Oof. A few weeks after their impromptu session, amid that Saturday night of television, they exchanged written messages outlining what we felt about the moment. What's cool, what's not cool, whatever else. One of the things we're saying to the world is we don't need to possess each other, he added. He quoted two favorite phrases of Miss McCray's. Labels put people in boxes, and those boxes are shaped like coffins. And I never want to be stuck. And one prized by his brother, a Tibetan Buddhist, avoid attachments.
Sure.
So they're going to share a home, and it's going to be super awkward.
Maybe.
And, yeah, that's going to be terrible. And thank you guys for sharing. And your marriage sounds terrible.
Your marriage sounds terrible. They're like, we're happy. And he's like, that sounds fucking awful. I hate that. I mean, I'm going to take them at their word. I don't know anything about these people. Maybe they're not. But, like, if they want to date other people, let them. Why do you care, man? What a weird guy. Why is he always such a little weird guy? He can't never not be.
And if you could go away, that'd be unbelievable. Alrighty, guys.
That's it. Wow. This is Ben Shapiro's content. Wow. Highbrow shit. I'm fucking so challenged by this. Dude, we live in a fucking shit show. Can someone give me, like, the backing of a studio show and just put me in front of a hot mic for 4 hours a day? I'll come here and I'll crush it, dude. Radio guy? Give me a radio guy job.